and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show with my co-host, the Franklin Business Melania Smith, who is once again on vacation. She's always on vacation. I'm going to have to redo her schedule. But I never know, I always say this, I never know who might walk into my studio. Today I am blessed to have a bunch of recording artists, recording engineers, professional photographer, media personnel. Hey guys, who do I have in my studio today?
Now you got Mr. Bill. I am the CEO and co-founder of Zoomies Entertainment out of Indianapolis. I'm sorry, we are originally from Indianapolis, but we now live in Atlanta. Okay. Just a couple of guys trying to start an independent record label to help these young artists out.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
My name is Nut Bush.
Okay.
Naptown is hometown, but I've relocated up to Georgia, and you know, I'm the partner with Mr. Bill, and producer, songwriter, platinum artist.
Yes, sir.
Multi-platinum songwriter.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
yes, sir.
Just trying to take this new thing this new thing we're doing, and take it as far as we can go.
Okay.
Jeff Davis, A&R for Zoomies Entertainment, photographer for Zoomies Entertainment, and anything else Zoomies Entertainment needs, I'm there for them.
Yes, sir.
And that's just...
You're definitely a bodyguard.
That too.
That's my man.
Yeah,
Definitely the
we just
bodyguard.
make it happen, brother.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm going to just ask some questions. This is spot on spot. We didn't rehearse, but I'm just curious because I went to you guys' event yesterday, and I was just overwhelmed with the amount of talent that I saw in there. Help me understand why the sudden you're from Indianapolis. First of all, why go to Atlanta? I know it's called Black Hollywood.
Well, for me, in the early days when I was in Indianapolis, we were in a band called the Polygenic Men.
Okay.
All right, and we toured around Indianapolis. We won Star Quest. We did the Indiana Black Expo. We headlined that 3 or 4 times. We did Gino's Passion at the Vogue, the Thursday nights back in the day.
Boy, that brings back memories.
Hey man, we headlined that thing probably 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
And then we opened for After 7. We did this show at Faces, and Babyface was there, and he was like, man, I could work with y'all better if y'all was in Atlanta.
Right.
So me being an aspiring 17, 18-year-old, I'm thinking, look,
What you got to lose? Go
what
for
you
it.
got to lose? Let's go.
Yeah.
So everybody agreed, and I'm still waiting on them to get down there.
How long did it take them to get down there? You already left.
I left. They still ain't there. He came, but
Okay.
but it was cool. So I had a family, my wife and kids and all of that stuff. So I was trying to work with the music industry while I was there. I was helping out a couple of groups that was signed with LaFace.
Mm-hmm.
But then, life got in the way.
Okay.
So I was a dad for the next 25 years, and I got away from it.
Okay.
And then I got back into it. I was like, you know what? My kids are grown and gone. It's my turn now. So that's where we stand now. And then Nutbush come in from Vegas, and I'm like, man, let's do this thing. Let's make it happen.
Nutbush.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's a no wonder you got platinum albums. Man, who's that rapper? That's Nutbush.
The name Nut Bush is actually, everybody knows me, or a lot of people know me in Indianapolis as Peanut.
Okay.
So there's a producer from here that I had a chance to do some things with, named Billy Bad.
Okay.
And Billy, every time he talks to me, he's always called me Nut Bush, and it's just been short for Peanut Bush.
Okay.
But I never thought nothing of it. It was just like he's the only person that ever called me that. And then one day it just clicked. It was like Nut Bush, man. I'm gonna go with that. And so it's been a uphill. It's things are starting to be good, but initially starting to do it, it was like it was tied in. People keep making it one word, like Nutbush City Limits, so it's like Tina Turner kept coming up. But it's starting to be now to where I can put my name in the.
What's the unique name? And your thing, in order to stand out from the crowd,
Yeah.
like Yolanda said, in order to brand yourself, you have to be original. And that's clearly original. Tell me your story.
My story?
Oh yeah, I know you don't beat somebody up.
Yeah.
You don't threw somebody out of the car.
My
You got your glasses on, man. I'm scared.
Hey, my story gonna trip you out because it's all about these two. And when I met Bill, like you said, he was a dad. Me and his son played football together,
Okay.
and that's how we met.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't know Bill had a musical tone in his body. Didn't know he could sing. Didn't know he could play the drums. Didn't know he was talented as he is. It blew my mind.
Right.
You know, we always talking about football, and our son's going to college and all this, just raising kids.
Right.
And then I started off I was a concert promoter in Atlanta. I did all the shows with Young Jeezy, Gucci Man, D-Furl back in the day, before they was even famous.
Right.
You know, making big money, $60,000 a show off of them. And they wasn't even on BET or nothing yet.
Really?
That's how much Atlanta supported them artists back in the day.
Wow.
And worked with a couple more artists and ran into Bill, and I told Bill about my artists. Bill built the studio in his crib for my artists, and that's where we hung out at Bill's crib even before Nutbush got there. And that's our story. That's my story in the music industry. That's how it all
guys
started.
said something that's really interesting. You said you was a promoter, and I recognize those names, the Young Jeezys, and I mean they're blow up. What's the difference in the talent of the artists then to the artists coming up now, like Nutbush?
Music was totally different back then.
Meaning?
When you say?
Yeah.
And it was easier for people. We was talking about that earlier today. It was easier for people to get in back then.
I think back then there were a lot more just straight loops, and there was not as much musicianship.
Mm-hmm.
When I mean actually playing the music, they were, and that's a big misconception nowadays as well. Is what's the difference between a producer and a beat maker?
I just was asking my boy something like that. What is the difference?
Beat makers, they use the machines. The machines will have the sounds on it, or it might have the chord, or whatever the case, and they just pushing buttons.
They all over social media, man.
But it's the easy, it's the new thing, it's what it is. I'm not saying they're not talented, don't get me wrong.
Right.
Because to put it together, they have to have an ear, they have to have a talent.
Yeah.
But we're musicians. We actually play.
Live.
We play live. We play the keyboard. We play the bass. We play the
Is there a
drums.
demand for the old school and rap mix?
Yes,
It is.
there is.
But is it a demand? Is the demand for it centralized? Because we clearly know Atlanta is not what is Indianapolis? We're the 15th largest city.
15, 16, something like
Yeah.
that.
So we know Atlanta isn't Indianapolis. We know that Miami, the Rick Ross area, isn't. Where's the margin at for the cities that are looking that actually are going? Wow, we're adding musical instruments into our raps.
I'll say this, that the majority of these guys, it's easier for them because most of them are doing it in their bedrooms. Mm-hmm. They're doing it at their spots.
Look, somebody wanted to go perform.
Yeah. So it's easy for me to be by myself and do those electronic things.
Yeah.
You don't have that talent if you don't have that talent to do it yourself. And you can just keep putting down music or lay down ideas. So yeah, there's a market for it. It's there, but the question is, what do you do with it? Once you finish your so-called project, what's next? You gotta distribute it. You got to promote it. You got to get out there. You got to push it. You got to do, what's next? So that's why I say it's a little different, but to try to find more musicians is tougher. Mm-hmm. Because all of that is this new, the kids. The new kids, everything is digital. Everything is social media. Everything is, on their phone.
Is it easier now I'm going to ask you this question. Is it easier now for an artist with the technology to become successful versus when you was doing it? That's for you.
Me personally, I think it's easier to have your stuff out there. It's easier because of this internet and everything and just streaming world. It's easier for anybody to just put something out there. Whether it's easier to become successful, regardless, you still got to put the work in, and I think you having the talent and it actually being a gift, a skill, people are still going to hear the difference of somebody that's seasoned from somebody who has learned how to copy and paste or whatever. It's like you still going to hear the difference.
Speaking of work, Allen Iverson used to say, practice. I call it work. I just got done talking to a good friend of mine that's been a DJ for years, Carlos Mayberry Mix. Shout out, he'll be on the show pretty soon.
Carlos.
Oh, you know Carlos? That's my boy. Carlos said something almost similar to almost exactly what you said. Take me down the life of you as an artist and tell me the work that you put in. Because if you got platinum music, dude, I want to be in your car seat because you got a work ethic.
Well, it's
Look at me real quiet now.
No, it's something I've literally lived this for years. Not exaggerating. It's an everyday thing. It's what I wake up doing. Whether it was being groomed by the different musicians I grew up with, that at a time you don't recognize that you're learning harmonies. It's all this stuff that happens. The different stages you've been on, all that kind of stuff. You get around different producers. Is you learning how. You learn it from producers to beat makers, because I do both of them. Because I don't know where my blessings coming from, so I want to be good at both of them.
Where did your ideas come from? From when you get up in the morning, you're trying to make an album or a record, or how does that work for you? Where's the inspiration coming from?
It's gonna sound cliche, but I just have to tell it what it is. It's God gave it to me. At the end of the day, I'm blessed to be able to get up. I don't go through writer's block. Knock on wood. I mean, if I go downstairs, I turn on the equipment, and unless I'm working on a project for an artist that they know what it is they want, I just start creating. And if it starts going in the country lane, then I go where the music is taking me. I don't stop it and be like, well, because I'm this.
Are you multi-fast? Like
I love music.
What's that guy's name? That was a rapper. He went country. Nelly. You're like Nelly. You can do it all.
Nelly, and that's not a knock because he's a beast.
I thought that was cool how he transitioned from that to all of a sudden a little bit of country. I'm like, come on, man.
I think infusing the different stuff from that standpoint, I definitely and no knocking Nelly. From what you were saying, that's definitely a compliment, but I'm just not. What's your gift? My gift is being able to write the song, to draw the story, to put the music to it, so that the music and the story is a marriage. I can write whether it's from a guy's point of view, or if I need to write a complete song for a female. I'm able to tap into where what a female would say and feel, so that a woman would actually be like, "Dang, I feel like this is like that's what I wanted to say."
You speaking for me?
Yeah. So for me. People can call it what it is, but I'm blessed.
Which one do you like most? Do you like producing, writing, singing?
That's.
You only had to pick one. I'm coming at you, dog.
If I had to pick one, that is definitely hard, because that's definitely like having.
You got one choice.
Children.
You got to pick the best one.
I would say the one that I would pick is the one that is working at that point in time.
Okay.
Because right now I'm known in a lot of places for playing drums. And it's like the drums is not something that now it seems like I'm further away from playing drums. So because that's not what's working, this is the thing. The writing and producing is what is starting to gain some ground. That's what I'll roll with.
I'm gonna tell you something. My brother Matez is an artist, and I remember back in his first album, Road to Riches, and I was in his house one day. I didn't even know he rapped. Tripped me out. And he just put out a pencil and paper and he started writing. And next thing I know, that writing turned into an album, Road to Riches, that just went crazy. I'm like, Dude, that's some skill. I tried to do it. None of my writing came out good at all. So the next question, tell me about the albums that you got out. What made them become platinum? How do you become platinum?
The platinum thing, that was a blessing from, I was signed with a group back in '96.
What's the group?
Dose of Soul. It was me, Stacy McCracken, Demetrius Daniels, and Greg Tishner. And we all was up in New York recording. We had recorded an album. We were on Def Jam. The only reason I'm able to say that we are platinum artists is that, meaning the Dose of Soul, the group, is because they put our song on the Nutty Professor soundtrack.
What was the name of the song?
Come Around.
Okay.
On the original Nutty Professor, the first Nutty Professor.
Okay.
And it's always weird because I actually tried to push that song off the producer that wrote and produced that. He did Real Love on Mary J. You Remind Me. So many things. He pretty much was the music at Sony. A brother named Corey Rooney.
Okay. And
I tried to give the song to try to tell him that Demetrius was the best person for it. And he was like, nah, you're going to sing this. But it ended up being the only song that came out on us. Like, even though we recorded an entire album, working with Rodney Jerkins and a lot of different people, that was the only song but they didn't push our single. They pushed, we got notoriety because it was on, so that's what made us platinum.
How do you feel when you become platinum? This is work that you put in. How do you feel? How long did it take to get there? I think that's the key. How long did it take you to get to that first platinum and then so forth and so forth?
I will just
It wasn't an overnight sensation.
No, it wasn't overnight.
You put in work.
It started from me playing drums at 7 years old with Al Hobbs and Eternal Light, Al Hobbs and the Workshop Choir, Polygenic Men, Lamar Campbell. It's everything leading up to that point of us going to New York. And we wasn't even trying to get our song on the Nutty Professor. We were just recording. They just happened to come to us a week after that song was recorded and was like, this song is going on there. Had they not done that, we really wouldn't have, even for those that even remember us, we wouldn't have had that because they never pushed the actual single. And then they, so.
But you surrounded yourself with, I recognize the names, the Al Hobbs, the Tony Lamont, the Carlos Mayberry mixes, the Tony Lamonts and so forth. You must have knew at a young age what you wanted to do, and you surrounded yourself with those individuals that were almost like mentors, I would take it.
I grew up in a musical family. Watching Man Child with Babyface and Daryl Simmons and my uncle Chucky Bush, who is the most influential in my life musically.
Really?
Reggie Griffin is like, I grew up watching them as well as so many other different bands. It was one of the places that they would rehearse. I'm sure there were many places, but it was, I saw them on a regular. I was definitely, you learn that you were inspired as you get a little older. Back then, I probably got on their nerves. But
look at you now. Yeah, right. Yeah, look at you now. So before we wrap up, I'm going to definitely have you come back on, whether it be Zoom or whatever, and I want you to perform. I want the people. The job here at the Andre The Beast Crayton Show is to promote, educate, inspire. That beast frame of mind. And you definitely are, right now with this story, is about to inspire a lot of people. Because I think this is what happens. Technology is easy. I tell my daughter, you don't realize how lucky you are to be living in this age.
Yes.
Like she's never seen a payphone. You know what I mean? She's never seen a beeper. I said, you guys can touch a button and be global overnight, but it still takes what you said. It takes work. What's the next step for you guys?
Well, right now I just released 3 songs on 3 different artists.
Who are the artists that you got?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got Nutbush, I've got K Hugs, who her second release with us is called As Long, which just released on Friday. Okay. All of our songs released on Friday. I've got Nutbush and Constance Mack. Constance Mack is my other female sensation.
Man, that name even sounds good.
Constance Mack. She's
Is she a
incredible.
beast?
She's a beast.
Okay.
But she and Nutbush are doing a duet.
Oh, okay.
So that one dropped called Hello Me.
Okay.
And then you got Mr. Bill. I dropped my second, actually it's my sophomore single. It took me 55 years to drop my first single, which was the lucky one, which I dropped in December. But this is my second release called Love Gets Me High.
Damn, I like that already. Okay, this is what we got to do. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is live. Please subscribe, like, share, review, the whole 9 yards. These guys are definitely going to come back, whether it be through Zoom or whatever. We're going to have them on the show. But my question is, what's his next album?
Oh yeah, you know what? We grooming it. We're grooming it, getting him ready. He played the shaker. He played the shaker and the rain stick.
Guys, how can the viewers reach you guys? You got inspiring people, that young guys that want to be artists, and they need to understand it's not an overnight sensation. Those overnight sensations don't come all the time. It takes work. How can the viewers get in contact with you?
They can find any of our music, any of our contact information, the stuff they can book sessions with us, all on my website at www.zoomies, that's ZOOMIEZ -entertainment.com.
Okay.
Shows everything that we have, shows who we are, what we have, and
Is it hard to travel down that road that you guys have already went down with?
it could be. It's as hard as you make it.
Okay.
It's as hard as you make it. You know, if you don't have the right people in place, if you don't have the right team, if you don't have the right, you look on my website. My three things that I try to live by is honesty, dedication, transparency. That's what a lot of people don't have nowadays when you say record labels or producers and all of that. But we are a family. And if you don't have a family, there's going to be backstabbing. There's going to be this. There's going to be egos. There's going to be all of that stuff. So those are the things you got to overcome. Are you strong enough to stay in, hang in, and put it together?
Give me some last words before we leave.
Last words, I would definitely say for those that inspire to be in the business or anything, learn as much of the business or technical that you can in that particular field. The love has to be there. If the love isn't there, then it's work. And even though it is work, it overrides it because you love what you're doing. And don't expect to get there. You know, what do you call it? Respect the process.
Okay.
You know, and enjoy the process, both the ups and downs, and just keep the faith that at the end of all these ups and downs, it's like there's a goal, and you're going to reach it as long as you continue.
And remember that the downs can teach you as much as the ups.
Give me something for the viewers before we leave.
Enjoy what you're doing, love what you're doing, as Nutbush said, and keep yourself surrounded around positive, motivated people, and things will work out for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of Andre The Beast Crayton.